Today we're going to talk about a very common idea, but it's not necessarily so much thought about. So, what I want to talk about today is carbs, and everyone should know about that, but no one really thinks about it. And so, I want to go over some basics first. So, a carb is a component of food that contains starches and sugars and is used mostly for energy within the body. And another thing I want to go over is diets. And a diet is when you restrict yourself from food or nutrients that you necessarily need for your body, and you're restricting yourself from them. And the next thing I want to go over is why people go on diets. And as explained by Martin Downs in 2010, people necessarily go on diets for a quick fix, and they don't necessarily want to change their lifestyle. Another reason people decide to go on diets is because they want approval from everyone else. They want to do it for everyone but themselves. And so, after all that information, I want to propose an idea. So, here's an idea: a low carb diet is worse than you think. So, before I talk about how bad low carb diets are, I want to talk about their popularity. So, one of the popular diets was the Atkins diet, and their net worth rose to about $100 million. And another popular diet was the South Beach diet, and when they sold their cookbook, it sold about 1.75 million copies. There are a few exceptions to the low carb diet, and that is stated by Michael Matthews in 2016. Now, some people that are prepping for a show, such as bodybuilders or bikini competitors, they need to lose that water weight, and that's what low carb diets are good for. And another population is when you have a sedentary lifestyle, and that's when you're basically doing nothing and you don't need that much energy, so low carb would be good for you. Most of us aren't trying to step on stage within the next week, so our body does need the carbs. And as stated by Mayo Clinic on May 2014, carbs provide our body with energy, they protect against diseases, and they control our weight. So, a popular notion about low carb diets is that they have beneficial side effects, and some of them include fast weight loss, it reduces hunger, and it reduces some illnesses, but that couldn't be further from the truth. So one of the reasons low carb diets are really bad is the side effects they create. And some of the simple side effects that they create is nausea, headache, and fatigue. And some of the serious side effects can be damage to the kidneys, and it can also lead to kidney stones. So another bad side effect of a low carb diet is something called ketosis. And that can be explained by June Daniels, stated on December 12, 2004. And ketosis is when the body is starved of carbs and your body begins to feed on the fat within your body. And ketones are formed and the body goes into starvation. So this story I'm about to talk about is probably the most mind-blowing thing. And it's about Dr. Atkins, who created the Atkins diet. So first off, Dr. Atkins died a couple years ago, and when he died, they released that he died because of a blunt force hit to the head, so he fell and hit his head. But the medical records were actually hidden. But when they were found, it was found that he had history of heart attacks, he had congestive heart failure, and he had high blood pressure. And as stated by Laura Dawson on July 10, 2016, she has a couple conspiracies, and they're actually very interesting. So the first conspiracy is they hid his medical records because either he was in such bad shape he did not follow his own low carb diet, or the second conspiracy is he followed his low carb diet. So let's say it was the second conspiracy. So all the symptoms he had is every symptom that a low carb diet says it prevents. While I was looking through different articles for this low carb diet video, I found a website with 20 different research articles. So I was looking through all of them, and most of the articles said these participants did lose weight 3 to 6 months, but once they were off the research study or a year later, all of them gained their weight back. Every single last one of them. I hope by now I've convinced you that a low carb diet is worse than you think. I have shown you evidence of the symptoms that it can create, how a creator of the low carb diet wasn't even on his own diet, and how ineffective it is.